Hi everyone, welcome to this live AMAS Ask Me Any stock session. I think some of you have already joined us and you're early. Just type a hi guys in the chat. If you can see us and see my screen as well, all right, you can hear me as well, just type a hi in the chat. Let me just acknowledge all of you for being early today, all right, at our weekly AMAS session. We have, let's see, today we have ABC. Hi JJ, good to see you here. Hi Grace. Hi Pavesh, hi Mike, good to see you here as well. Awesome, welcome guys, welcome to this Ask Me Any stock session. Hi Era, Damien, John, Nelson, hi Eugene, Chi Sing as well. Chi Sing, very good to see you here. I think you're here almost every week. Thank you so much for your support, Chi Sing. Let's see, we have Siwi, cool as well. Hi Song Ho, welcome Victor, Alex. All right, very good. I think a lot of you are joining us. We have slowly more than 80 people here. All right, we are live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, before we even begin, right, would it be okay if you guys help us out, help us to like and to share, all right, help us to like and share. I think there should be a like and share button. Show us some love, share it so that we can reach out to a little bit more people as well. More people can benefit from this session today. All right, thanks for hitting the like and share button. Awesome. Good morning as well, Jane. Hi, good morning, Chu. Like to find out what US stocks worth buying now. Well, definitely that's what we'll cover today. All right, okay, good. So let's get started right now, guys. For those of you who have just joined us, welcome to this session called the Ask Me Any Stock session. All right, and in today's live stream that we do every Friday, all right, today we'll be talking about the US market, all right, the US market. Why? Well, essentially because last Friday we did the Singapore market, so we will alternate it, right? Last Friday was Singapore, today Friday will be US, next Friday we're back to Singapore. Does it make sense? All right, so that's exactly what we'll do. Right, so in today's session, very simple. Right, we'll do a quick market outlook. Right, we look at the major US indices like the Dow Jones and even the S&P500 index, right? What has happened over the past few weeks? Are we seeing weakness? Could there be more signs of strength? What are some of the key levels? All right, and after that, let us know what stocks, the US stocks, right? Today's US. So US stocks that you want to be covered in the US market, right? So we just go through more than 10, 20 over US stocks that you guys are asking about. All right, and we just go through one by one. So I think some of you are already typing, the US stocks in your chat. Hi Chong, happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Some of you are typing like Singapore stocks, like Tuan Sing, this is a Singapore stock. So today, guys, just take note, we are covering the US market, right? So if you are looking at Singapore, then maybe next Friday will be the one. All right, but today we'll be focusing on the US stock, right? And make sure you stay all the way to the end, guys, because at the end of this live session, right, that's where we will pretty much also cover the bonus stock that each of us like. So I have my team over here, my team of mentors, trainers, top brokers in Philip Securities. I have Zee and Bervyn right over here. I'm just going to introduce them before they just come in and say a few words. But essentially, each of us will share one US stock that we like, right? Based on my one good trend, right? In short, it's called the one GT, one good trend strategy. And we will even see how it looks on my one good trend pro indicator, the one GT pro indicator. So essentially I have an indicator, right, that guides us on entry and exit, and how do we know when to buy, maybe even when to sell and get out, right? That's exactly what we'll cover today. All right, so let me just go to just introduce my team here who is with me. All right, and for those of you who have not met me before, you have no idea who I am, good morning to you guys. My name is Joey. All right, Joey Choy, top tier miser trader in Philip Securities. I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. I do run some trainings as well to conduct and teach people how to trade the stock market with so much more clarity. All right, we focus a little bit more on trend trading, and that's the reason why my strategy is called one good trend, right? One good trend. So if you want to find out a little bit more, well, you can attend one of those free webinars. We don't have one next week, maybe a few weeks time. Maybe team can just put the link in the chat, and that's where I'll share with you guys a bit more on the entire strategy, right? Today is not to share with you the whole strategy. We don't have time for that. All right, it's just pretty much to just go through the stocks that you are asking about, and we'll each share one that we like at the end. All right, but you want to find out more about the whole strategy, perhaps how you can have also an indicator, the one GT Pro indicator like that to guide you, then attend one of those free webinars, right? The link is right in the chat. All right, okay, so let me go ahead to share and introduce to you my team. We have Bervyn right over here to join us today. Bervyn has been with me for more than 4 to 5 years now, one of the top brokers in Philip Securities under me, conducting our group coaching session, our mentees one-on-one session as well, and also assisting our portfolio manager to manage the funds in the portfolio management account. All right, and for those of you who don't know, Bervyn is actually a CFA chartered holder. All right, chartered holder, pretty much a CFA analyst. And those of you who are in the finance industry, this is one of the highest qualification one can ever get in the industry. All right, and also not just technical, but he's also very, very familiar with fundamental analysis. So very good to have you, my team, to join us today as well, to share his thoughts on the stocks that you guys are asking about as well. You know, at the end, he will share one that he likes as well. So maybe, Bervyn, let me just share the mic with you. Go ahead to share a few things.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Joey, for the introduction. Yes, so I see a lot of familiar faces here this morning. Wow, it's very good familiar names. And you all have started to type your stocks in the chat as well. That's good. I hope I can give you guys some insight, some value into what's happening in the market, and of course share a bit about the stocks that you're requesting for as well. Yeah, so I hope you guys will continue to join us every week as we do more and more AMA session to give more value back to you guys. All right, back to you, Joey.
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. So today we have Zee as well, or one of my team as well, who has been with me for more than 4 to 5 years, like Bervyn. All right, and Zee actually is what we call a chartered market technician. All right, those of you who are into technical analysis, this is pretty much the highest qualification one can get. All right, in the technical analysis space. All right, so if you're looking at charts, right, looking at charts, looking at targets, prediction of where prices can go, looking at past patterns, price action, candlestick. And of course, Zee is also familiar with my one good trend strategy. Well, Zee is the go-to lady, all right? One of the top reminders in Philip Securities under me as well, conducting our group coaching session, assisting our portfolio manager as well with the managing of our funds. All right, so Zee, maybe just say a few words to introduce yourself.
All right, sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Joey. My name is Zee. Thanks for tuning in today and, wishing all of you guys a happy Valentine's Day. Whether you are spending it, today with your loved ones or maybe your pet or maybe even like us, right? Spending it with the stock market like right now. I'm glad that you are here. So the thing is that, unlike love, right? Sometimes love gives you mixed signal or maybe even no signal at all, correct? But later on, you will see that how the one good trend, one GT Pro indicator, right, actually gives you a high probability signal in the stock market. So without further ado, I will pass back the mic to Joey to actually dive right into today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Zee. Let's get started. So just a quick disclaimer, right? The standard disclaimer that we share every single time. The entire live session, whatever that we share today, right, it's just for education purposes only. All right, it's not to ask you to buy or not to buy or not to sell, not to buy. All right, essentially is for you, for information, right, for education purpose. So we hope you learn something, you get value out of it. That's key to us. All right, and standard thing, please do your own due diligence. All right, so let's get started right now. Let's get started right now as we look into the markets, right? Let's look into the market. So very simple, right? Let's just go to cover what we call the Dow Jones right now. The Dow Jones, one of the top indices that a lot of people look at beside the S&P 500 index. So I think some of you are already typing the stocks in the chat, right? So very good, guys. Just go to type the US stocks that you want a quick opinion on in the chat. As I say, we are going to start it. We are going to go through one by one. All right, and I'll just cover the markets very quickly and before we talk about the stocks. Okay, so those of you who are just joining us, welcome. And would it be okay, guys? Help us to hit the like and share button. And one more thing, right, guys, is that if you have not yet subscribed or follow the YouTube or even the Facebook channel, depending on where you are logging into this live stream, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. I think there should be a like and subscribe at the top. All right, so that when we go live in the future, you will not miss out. And also when we do share some of my YouTube videos as well, on Facebook as well, you will be notified as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, follow, and that's where you will not miss out. Okay, so this is the Dow Jones right here. And let's take a look. So you can see for Dow Jones, right, very simple. I have this one GT Pro indicator right here. So you can see there's some bullish and bearish signals. So essentially, when you open a chart, right, most people actually just look at a chart like this. If I can just turn off everything, and that would be a blank chart, right? A blank chart, right? And that's what most people actually do, right? Look at a blank chart, you start drawing a ton of lines, and you try to make sense out of this, right? But for me, right, and of course my team as well, because my graduates and my mentees, what happens is that we have access to this one good trend, the one GT Pro indicator, whereby in a matter of seconds, pump, all right, we can turn on what we call bullish and bearish signals, right, to guide us whether it's a good stock, whether it's the market moving up, is it looking bearish, is it going down, what's happening, right? Seconds, right? So let me just turn it on again. I just get it off it, on it, and there we go. And I can also turn on what we call some of the moving averages, just to give me an idea of the trend of the market, right, or the stock, whether is it in the long term or short term. So let me just go to explain. So you can see that, for Dow Jones that we talked about 2 weeks back as well, we have been in a longer term uptrend just by looking at the red line and the blue line. So the red line, if you have been following me, that would be the 100 days moving average. The blue is the 200 days simple moving average. All right, so you can see that both of these two lines are pointing up. The red is above the blue. So if you ask me, is the longer term trend up for the market, right, for the Dow Jones? Well, the answer is yes. All right, not just last week or last month or what, but since I think almost 2 years back, right, in 2023, we have already turned into a longer term uptrend. All right, but what about the short term? Well, for the short term, we can take a look at the green line. That would be what we call the 20 days moving average. You can see when the line points down, not so good. Look at it, points down. Well, over here, look at this, right? The green line starts to point down, right? So the short term trend has turned down for 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, even though the longer term trend was up. Does it make sense? So we try not to get in when the short term trend is down, right? We want to only get in when both of them are up. All right, so you can see right now, if you look at the short-term trend, let's take a look at the green line right now. So I think longer-term trend, all of you know, it's quite easy to see, right? But for the green line, you can see it was down. So if you ask me maybe 2 months ago, I would say down. But now if you ask me, I would say that the green line is starting to point up. Does it make sense? So the short-term trend has turned up for the market. Of course, we saw weakness in December due to the Federal Reserve coming out and say that they want to pause the pace of rate cuts. Tech stocks sold off as well. Of course, over the past weeks, we have some negative news as well in terms of Trump introducing what we call tariffs. All right, and it could be a potential trade war with other countries also taking what we call retaliatory actions. All right, but so far so good. The market has pushed a little bit higher. And for the Dow Jones, we can take a look at this very critical level that I mentioned as well previously, and that would be the 45,000. So I think right now, we're looking pretty good, right? Longer term trend is up. The short-term trend is up based on the green line. And if you look at this right over here, we actually have a bullish signal, right? This bullish signal coming out right over here on the 21st of Jan, about 2 weeks back. And we have started to push even higher. All right, so my take is this, right? I think 45,000 is very key for the Dow Jones, all right? If we can break the 45,000, I'm not too sure exactly when. I mean, we have been, below it for about 2-3 months now. Look at this, right? We kind of hit it there. And then we sold back, and then over the past 2 weeks, we are still below it, right? We cannot go above the 45,000, all right? But if we can do it, all right, if there's some kicker or catalyst to break the 45,000, well, I think that would be where it could set the stage of more upside, maybe all the way to 48 to 50,000. And we would even have a bullish signal coming out. We would have a new bullish signal, something like, this thing over here. We would have a new bullish signal coming out. I'm not too sure exactly when, all right, because we have to wait for it to happen, right? But if it does happen, you go to 45,000 plus, 45,100, 200, 300 or above it, and stay above it, of course, that is where it could be a good thing. We may see even more upside. I think that's where we start to see a lot of stocks starting to push higher as well, led by the entire market. All right. Okay, very good. So that is pretty much the Dow Jones. And let me just go to cover what we call the S&P500 index, right? The index that is very popular, that tracks the top 500 companies in the US. All right, so you can see right over here, we got some bearish signals, and you can see when we got a bearish signal, you try not to buy because you can see it's going down. The green line points down, it's going down. All right, very good bullish signal coming here in November. Look at the move up all the way, another bullish signal, another one here in September all the way up. And of course, in December, I mentioned, right, we saw some weakness. The green line points down. We got a bearish signal. You want to be careful, right? But let's see what has happened over the past 2 weeks. Well, seems like we've got a new bullish signal coming out right over here in January. That's about 2-3 weeks back. The green 20 days moving average line has started to point up. What about the longer term trend? Well, I mean, obviously the red and the blue line is still pointing up. So that one is quite easy to see. It's been up since about 2 years back. All right. So I think it looks pretty okay, right? Looks pretty okay. We saw some short-term weakness over the past 2-3 months, but you can see that each time we sell back down, right, to the market, longer term moving averages, the red and the blue line, all right, or maybe near it, right? And buyers are out to bargain hard, and they're out to push it even higher. So I think right now we're looking, in fact, a bit more bullish, I would say, because we have, seen the short-term trend turn up, and we have seen what we call an attempt to break some of the key resistance level. Look at this, right? About 2 months back, we're right here, sold back down. Over the past 2-3 weeks, same thing, couldn't get above this level, and we sold back down. In fact, I think yesterday we closed at 6115, right? 6115. So what would be the key resistance? Well, I would say that 6,120, all right, 6,130 around there. You can see, right? We have just been consolidating below it. So we can really clearly see a firm move for the market above the 6120 or 6130 for the S&P 500 index. Well, I think that would be a catalyst as well. All right, for more upside, we may even see a new bullish signal coming out, and it could lead even more upside. All right, so that is pretty much it. That is for the markets, right? So we have like more than 130 of you joining us. Welcome, guys, to this live session. For those of you who have just joined us, right, welcome to this Ask Me Any US Stock. As the name of the live stream sounds, and you can, of course, can see the heading right there as well, right? Ask Me Any US Stock. So welcome. All right, today we'll be looking at the US stock. I think a lot of you have already typed the stocks that you want a quick opinion on. So let me just go ahead to cover the US stocks. We have, let's see, hi, good morning as well, Neil. All right, we have AMD. Okay, so many. So I think what, let me just go ahead to cover very quickly, and one by one, I will do it first, and then after I pass the mic to Bervyn to cover one US stock, and then Zee will take over, and then I'll come again. All right, and we just go through very quickly, all right, maybe 1 or 2 minutes for each US stock, how it looks like before we cover the top stocks that you guys can put in your watch list. Okay, so let me go ahead to see what is in the chat. So go ahead to type in the chat, guys, any US stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Go ahead to type in the chat. Let's see, we have all right, Sichuan, you're asking about CrowdStrike, please. All right, so why not just cover CrowdStrike? Let me just write it down. All right, let me just write it down. And okay, CrowdStrike. So let me just find CROWD, CrowdStrike. Where is it? Let's go, CrowdStrike. Okay, I think CrowdStrike has been one of the stocks that has been in my watch list. So this is CrowdStrike, all right? So Choy asking about CrowdStrike, right? So very simple, guys. CrowdStrike right here, the very first stock for today's AMAS session. And let's see, I think it looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty good. Look at this, right? I mean, we had some bearish signals right over here in like July and August. Pump. There we go all the way down. All right, you want to be careful when we get bearish signals. So this is from my 1GT Pro indicator, as I say, right? We can just simply turn it off, pump, turn it on, all right, and get an opinion. And we got bullish signals in August. Look at this right here, August. Another one in November. Another one in 28th of January. All right, I think that's about 2 weeks back. And see, we are starting to make our way even higher. So let me just go to draw some resistance line. I think we have broken this very key resistance, and that would be the 400. Look at this, guys. I mean, 400, we're right here in June last year, about almost a year back, and we sold off from it. There was some bad news. All right, we sold off, and we were actually right here hovering above the 400 for a while. And you see right now we are, have firmly break the $400 psychological resistance. And you can see, I think we got a bullish signal right here. So if I can quickly turn on, right, based on this 1GT Pro indicator, the trailing support line, let me just turn it on. You can see very quickly. When we got this first bullish signal coming out in August, I mean, after going down and down and down, right, we found a bottom, we got the first bullish signal. You can see that there is this trailing support line that pops up. Can you see, guys? This is a trailing support. As the name sounds, it trails the price as it moves up. All right, and we give it allowance and breathing space for it to hopefully move higher. And if we are above this trailing support that keeps on following it, are we good or bad? Well, it'll be good, right? It'll be good because that's where there's space given. Hopefully it can move higher. Hopefully it stays above it, and you can see that it starts following it and goes even higher. So I think over the past 1-2 weeks, this trailing support has followed and moved even higher. All right, I mean a little bit of space still below it, but it accounts for volatility and give it space to move higher. So I think it looks pretty good, right? The longer term trend is up. The short term trend, you can see, it was actually flat, right? The 20 days moving average line was flat, but we're still above the trailing support. All right, and over the past 2 weeks, you see the green line has started to point up as another confirmation of the reversal move of the next upside phase. Of course, we got a bullish signal right here as well. So some of you might be curious, right? Hey, why do we have this bullish signal? Well, if I can quickly turn on. So I mean, what I did just now was I drew the $400 psychological resistance level, right? I mean, this is what I've drawn. But in fact, with a click of a button right over here, I could actually turn on the horizontal support and resistance pump. There we go. You can see there's a resistance right here, whereby we actually attempt to break above it. What is a resistance? Well, a horizontal resistance is whereby, could be a few weeks, could be a few months, we touch the price, we come back down, we cannot go above it. But one fine day, all right, while we are above the trailing support that follows it, right, we consolidate for a while. One fine day, we break above it. Look at this line right here. If you extend it, you can see we break above it. And that's the reason why we got the new bullish signal. So you can see this is not what I draw. This is what, click a button, pump off, on, off, on. Look at this right here. And let me just turn it off, right? So you can see we got a bullish signal. So I think not too bad, all right? So if you're asking about CrowdStrike, not too bad. I'm not too sure whether you are looking to buy or to sell. And guys, would it be okay, right? For those of you who are typing, maybe we'll give a bit of priority. We give a bit of priority for those of you who actually type the stocks that you want, right? Instead of just a name like Amazon or Nvidia or Apple, right? Maybe give a bit of kind of like a context, a bit of context. You bought it previously. You are looking to buy. You have sold last week. I don't know. What is it about? So that when we cover it, right? I'm not too sure, so that we can advise a little bit better. Does it make sense? All right. So if you can do that, that will be helpful. You're not just a name now, also to know what is it about, right? So this is a CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, as I say, looks pretty good, right? In fact, we got a bullish signal since September. Look at this right over here, all the way up to here, 70%. All right, 70% in about 4 or 5 months. All right. Pretty awesome, right? So I think it looks too good. Looks pretty good. If you can go above that 450, stay above it, we may continue to see this bullish signal still playing out. The trailing support will follow it and push even higher. All right, so that's the first stock, and that will be CrowdStrike. So let me go to pass the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stocks. All yours.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, let me throw up my screen. Okay, I think just now, quite a few earlier on was asking about this stock, AMD. So Advanced Micro Devices. I think so far, very, very clearly, we can see that the downtrend is very, very much intact. And we also spot what we call lower highs being formed. That means every time there are sellers or buyers that come in to push the prices higher, there are actually sellers that come in to actually take over and take control and push prices further down. And somewhere right here, somewhere recently in the last few months, we actually see the 100 days moving average, the red line, she crossed below the blue line already, and then it started to already, of course, point down. So this is not what we like to see, especially if you're holding on to this stock. The sign of a longer term downtrend is intact. It's not something you want to hold up. It's something maybe you want to free up some capital. These are the stocks that you are actually looking to take out of your watch list as well. Yeah. Okay, so in the more recent times, we actually see the 20 days moving average, the 20 days moving average still pointing down, and furthermore, prices are trading below the 20 days moving average. Not a good sign, and potentially we may see the support being around the $100 psychological level, which was previously where prices had rebounded from in sometime in 2023 as well. So we have reached a new low in the recent years already. Yeah, so we do not want to actually get in on a counter that is still showing signs of weakness in the near term. We want to actually see the longer term trend pointing up, a longer firm long-term uptrend, and a firm near-term trend as well before we actually get it. So if I were to turn on the trailing support and resistance, like what Joey said just now, if you have a trailing support, 1 GT bullish signal and the trailing support, the trailing support will follow the prices up. On the other hand, if you have a 1 GT bearish signal, what we have here will be the trailing resistance that will actually follow the prices down. So that's not a good sign. So if prices continue to trade below this trailing resistance, that shows that the weakness is continued. There is no sign of any reversal yet. So what we want to actually see is the trailing support or trailing resistance actually flatten out, and then prices actually flatten out, consolidate a little bit as well, and then break above the trailing resistance in the first place before we can even consider any signs of reversal. But at this point, there is no signs of the 20 days moving average slowing down, flattening out just yet. It's still pointing down, so that is not what we want to see as well. So if you are holding on to AMD, Julian, I think maybe you want to consider like a stop loss plan, especially if you've been holding this for a while, you've been sitting on some losses already. Yes, maybe it's time to maybe shift your attention to other opportunities as well. So that is just a quick one for AMD. Maybe can I pass on the mic to Z to share with us the next stock?
Thanks, Bervyn. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, so very early on, I think JJ was one of the first few that actually typed in his or her stock, right? So I'll be doing AT&T. So for AT&T, right, we can see that from the start of 2024, right, at very early in January, we saw the 100 days, the rate crosses above the blue line, and then moving forward.
Z, I think your mic is cutting.
Oh, okay.
No worries. I'll take over. Would that be good?
Okay.
AT&T, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. I'll do it. No worries. Let me just help Z out right over here.
Let me rejoin
Okay,
the
you join. No
studio.
worries. Z. Let me just AT, and how you spell AT and T. Is it?
Yep. There we go. ATT.
ATT, right?
Sorry,
T, right?
The code is T, correct.
All right. Okay. Very good. JJ Teo. All right. Let me help you out over here. While Z solve the technical issue. Okay. So very good. This is AT&T. Right. Very quickly. I think Teo, you are just kind of like typing the stock name. So I'm not too sure whether you're looking to add. I think some of you are very good, right? You're actually typing like a bit of a reasoning, whether is it a good time to buy, you're holding on to it, you bought last year, don't know what to do, that kind of thing, right? So very good. At least we have a bit of context. So never mind. J, let me go to see. I think for AT&T, I think it's pretty good. Looks pretty good. Look at it. I mean, we have some bullish signals, as I say, right? In a matter of seconds, just by looking at the 1GT Pro indicator, we got some bullish signals coming out. Pump, let's turn it off. Pump, let's turn it on. There we go, right? Bullish signal since May. Start to move up from here all the way to here. We got a bearish signal, 40% in about 7-8 months, all right? And a bearish signal, you want to be careful. So whenever we get a bearish signal, well, it means that there could be some weakness in the short term. We would have broken, all right, a trailing support. If we can turn it on for you, you can see right over here, right? Right over here, you can see, right? So since we got the first bullish signal in May, right? All the way up, the trailing support, follow all the way up. Give it space to move higher, all right? It accounts for volatility. By right, it should be above it, right? If you're good, not good, then not counted, right? But 150, you can see, right? We actually went below, we broke below the trailing support. So that's a sign of weakness. It just shows that there could be some selling pressure coming back, all right? It doesn't mean it's going to crash or what, but there's a bit of selling pressure coming back. You want more confirmation as well. You can see that the 20 days moving average line that was going up, flat, and now started to point down a bit, all right? So a bit of weakness, I would say that was in January 2025. I mean, just like about 1 month back. But over the past 2 weeks, well, good, right? Look at this. We got a new bullish signal. Why? Well, obviously, you can see where we have gone above the trailing resistance. And this green line that was pointing down, flat, also started to point up. Does it make sense so far? All right. Look at the red and blue. Don't need to see that. Very easy. That one, I mean, has been in a longer term uptrend since like, I don't know when, all right, 2 years ago or 1 year ago. All right. So longer term trend up, short term trend is up. Trailing support has popped up. We're following prices as it moves higher. A bullish signal is in place. So I think if you ask me, pretty good. All right, JJ, I hope that you have bought this stock or maybe you're looking to buy. All right, these are definitely stocks that we want to think about getting in as well. Thanks for sharing this stock. I would say that anything above that 25 to 24.50, that's where some bargain hunting can come back. All right, if we push even higher, this trailing support can continue to follow it even more and give it space to move even higher as well. All right, okay, so that will be for AT&T. Okay, so maybe I'll just pass on the mic back to Z to check it out. Hopefully, your mic will be working. Cover the next stock, Z. Go ahead.
All right, sure. Thanks, Joey. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
okay, so the next one that I will be covering, hopefully my mic everything is good. I'll be covering is this stock called Goldman Sachs. So I think somebody was actually asking whether you can buy Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan. Okay, so I'll be covering the first one, which is like Goldman Sachs. So let me just present my screen over here. Okay, So for Goldman Sachs, right, I mean, very obviously, right, if we look at the trend itself, it's the long-term trend is definitely up, the red and the blue line is up. And then the short-term trend is also up. And starting from 2024 onwards, we see quite a number of 1GT bullish signal coming out. I mean, of course, in between, we do see some 1GT bearish signals here as well when selling pressure actually started to come back, right? So sometimes when you look at this, right, I would think that whenever you see a 1GT bearish signal, right, it could potentially be an opportunity for you to monitor the key levels and keep a lookout for the 1GT bearish bullish signal coming up to actually enter again. For example, such as this, right? So when the 1GT bullish signal actually come out, the other one came out again, and then 1GT bearish signal, that's about 18% gain, right, from April to like August. So where are we at right now? So right now, if we look at this in the nearer term, right, from November onwards, prices actually broke above this level, which is one of the, I would say, one of the key support level at about this 560, where we actually saw, you know, price went up and then tested near the 620 resistance level, right? And selling pressure started to come back down. And here is where we actually saw a 1GT bearish signal coming out again. And the reason that we actually saw this is because price actually broke and closed below this trailing support, like what Joey and Bervyn has turned on earlier, right? So, but subsequently, I mean, buyers came back very quickly and continued to hold above this 560, and bam, eventually another 1GT bullish signal came out and prices continue to push price up and even broke above the 620 resistance right over here, right? So ABC, right? ABC is actually asking, so you're looking to buy, right? So in terms of where can you potentially position yourself for entry, let me just change this to green, because right now price is above this 620. So this 620 will be turned from a resistance to a support, right? So one of the potential places, right, the potential zone for entry that you can position yourself, I would say, will be around this support zone right over here. So maybe about 620 to about 630. This is one of the levels that maybe I would perhaps monitor as well, because you see that short-term trend is up, long-term trend is also up. There is a recent 1GT bullish signal and price is still holding above the 620 key support level, right? So I will probably place alerts right over here. So let me just do it quickly. I will just right click, send an alert, and I would place my price maybe somewhere around 625, right? Around 625, and then I will just add a name. So this is Goldman Sachs and create. So when price actually return and, you know, goes back to this support zone, this is where I'll be alerted, and perhaps I can actually position myself for a potential entry. And once you entered, right, maybe you are asking, okay, so where is your targets? Well, what targets are you looking at? Okay, so in terms of targets, the same thing, we actually do a projection. So the next target that I'll probably will be looking at would be around this level at around 680. So those are the levels that I will keep a lookout for. I hope that helps ABC. So that would be for Goldman Sachs. Then I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, very good. Let me go to cover the next one and I'll pass it on to Bervyn. All right, okay. So we have, let's see, right now. And by the way, guys, I know there's a lot of US stocks right now. And then we have like more than 30, 40, 50 over US stocks. So first thing, guys, we'll try our best. We'll try our best. Do hang in there. Give us some time because we have to go through like all the stocks. And we try to pick, those that a lot of you are asking about, right? Maybe 3 or 4 of you asking about the same stock. Maybe cover that, all right? So if we cannot cover your stocks, right, our apologies, right? Our apologies. We just want to make sure we do our best as well, all right? So hang in there. Let me just go to cover another one. Let's see. We have Hui Min. I think Hui Min. Is it a good time to buy CELH? Right, CELH. Okay, so this is CELH right over here. All right, Celsius Holdings. Right, Celsius Holdings. So let me just go to write it down. All right, Celsius Holdings. Okay, so I think this is Celsius Holding. Is it a good time to buy? Very good, Hui Min. Thank you so much. Rather than just typing CELH, I have no idea what you want to do, but now you're thinking to buy, right? Thinking to buy. So I think, is it a good time to buy, right? Good question. Let me go to answer that question. So I think for CELH, before I answer that question, right, you can see that quite quickly, we had some bullish signals right over here in like 2024, February, 1 year back. There we go, all the way up. Bearish signals sold off, bullish signal went back up. But I think this whole sell down really started from these two bearish signal in June last year, just about 6 months, 7 months back. All right, look at this. I mean, two bearish signals, the green 20 days moving average line, that was moving up started to slope down and down. And I mean, the green line, is it still sloping down? Yes, it's still kind of like sloping down. So if you are telling me that you want to think about buying, I would say don't buy, right? I mean, these are stocks that we don't want to buy. Why? Because first of all, the trend has turned down in the short term. I mean, since like June last year. All right. And if you look at this right over here, right? The 100 days moving average. And when we covered a few stocks, I think just now I covered like AT&T. Well, the longer term trend was up, right? So yeah, in the short term, maybe a bit of weakness, doesn't matter, go down and go up a bit more, right? But for this, you can see that the short term trend has turned down, right? It reacted first, I mean short term, so a bit faster lah. A few months later, in August, September, the longer term trend, which was okay if you ask me in 2023, right? Also started to turn down. Right over here, the red went below the blue. And of course, both the red and blue, I mean, it looks different from the stocks I covered previously lah. All right, previously it's the red and blue go up, then red above the blue, right? Now it's a bit different. The red below the blue and both going down, right? So the longer term trend has turned down. The short term trend has turned down based on the green line. And if you look at all these bearish signals that are popping out, look at this, right? A bearish signal right here again. It went down even more. Yeah, we did a bullish signal, maybe a bit of a buying pressure coming back, but bearish signals coming out, bearish signal coming out, a bullish signal, maybe just a bit of bargain hunting coming out, right? Rebound a little bit towards the resistance. And there we go. Look at this, right? I mean, the past like maybe past 1 month, right? 23rd Jan. Today's the 14th of Feb. So about 3 weeks back, we got a bearish signal, green line continue to point down, and we have gone from like 26 to 22. All right. So as I say, is it a good time to buy? No, right? No, we wouldn't want to buy stock like this, all right? Because there are all signs pointing to it more downside. We got bearish signal, long-term trend is down, short-term trend is down. We just don't like stocks which is cheap, all right? Essentially, we don't like stocks which is cheap because I know it can be cheap, right? You might say that it's $22. It used to be like what? It used to be $80, no? Then 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, now only 20, right? Yeah, very good. And I don't know when next week will become 15 or 20 or 10 or something, right? I mean, so we don't like cheap stuff, right? So we only want to think about buying when there are clear signs of a reversal or a stock that is already strong. Does it make sense? So if you ask me, probably not, right? Because I mean, all signs are just pointing down, and we looked at, I think, if we even break the $20, we could even see more selling. Maybe we might have another bearish signal coming out. All right, so that would be CELH. Choy, I hope you have a better idea. Probably not want to buy. All right, okay. Let me pass on the mic to you, Bervyn. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, I think somebody was asking Clement, is it a good time to sell PayPal right now? Okay, so on my screen here we have PayPal. I think very clearly, I think the longer term trend so far it is still pointing up, but the 100 days moving average is starting to flatten out already. Sorry, yeah, and the 20 days moving average has started to point down and looks to be crossing the 100 days moving average very, very soon. So I think, I think previously, if you have bought this counter since I think late of last year, I think you have been sitting on pretty good gains. If say of about at its peak, you have been sitting about 52% gains. But right now, I think maybe some of your gains have been erased, especially they have just announced earning guidance. It's a very, very good right now. So prices have broke below what we call previously a support, now turned into a resistance, right? Resistance, and then this currently prices are inching very, very, very close to a temporary support right around the 74 to 75 level, very, very close to the 200 days moving average already. I think sellers previously come back close to the 92 level, came back twice before finally, upon earnings announcement, prices broke below this $82 currently resistance. So if you are actually looking to sell, I mean, of course, I would have rather you have sold closer to the 82 level, just when we had that 1 GT bearish signal, because that support had been broken already and you want to actually lock in some profits as well. So right now we are close to the $76 level, $77 level as of yesterday's close. What we want to do is, if you have the opportunity, maybe you want to set a stop loss level just below the 76 level. So if we were to draw, or we were to turn on this trailing resistance line at this point, you will obviously see that prices are very far below the resistance level. So I mean, the trailing resistance. So that's not really a good sign for you to continue holding, especially if you're sitting on some gains. So perhaps maybe it's time to consider to lock in some profits, and then if we then see, let me just turn this off first. If we then see the 20 days moving average, start to flatten out again, and then start to point out, maybe that's when you can get in, or for another trade again. But I think right now it's the best thing you can do is to actually lock up some profits, put some money in the pocket first, and then continue to monitor this counter. All right, okay, Clement. So that is it for PayPal. Z, can you bring us through the next one?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next one that I will be covering will be from Eugene. So Eugene is asking, for Google, is it a good time to buy? Okay, so let's take a look at Google, right? I mean, Google, if we take a look at the longer term trend of Google, right? I mean, red and the blue line looking great, decent, go up. I mean, sometimes in September to December, it kind of like flattened out a bit, but it rebounded. The red line actually bounced off the blue line, which is a 200 days moving average, and now it's actually pointing up, right? I mean, for the short-term trend, of course, during the year, that's up and down, there's short-term weakness, even the longer-term, when the longer-term trend is up. So what is happening recently, right now, somewhere in December, we actually see, price actually broke above this 180. I would draw this level at 180. So this 180 is like a resistance level back then, right? In November and December, that we saw selling pressure actually came back, and price actually broke above it and managed to hold above it, right? So this 180 turned from a resistance to become a support, right? And subsequently, I mean, prices continue all the way up to about 200, which is one of the psychological resistance that we are looking at right now as well, because we saw, multiple long upper shadows that we see over here, right at the candles over here, right? And when this actually happens at a resistance level, it actually just means that all the sellers there are very strong. They're all queuing there to actually sell. And that's why we actually see prices coming back down, right? And right now, price yesterday it closed at 186.14, right? And remember this 180 support level that we have drawn earlier. So to answer your question, Eugene, do you think it's a good time to buy? I would say right now, right, prices is currently still holding above this 180 support level over here, and I would say that this could be a potential entry, potential zone for entry as well, because as long as it's holding above this 180, both the longer term 100 and 200 days moving average are still looking good. That will be great. But what I want to see, right, is this 20 days moving average. Now it's still pointing down, right? What I want to see is kind of like flattening out a bit first, right? So that I can have more confirmation that price can actually indeed hold above this 180 before actually confirming my entry. So as you can see here, right, the blue color, this black arrow here, I already set my price alert right over here. And if you're asking, okay, so then what about the targets, right, for those who have already entered, right? If you are looking to sell, we have already drawn the targets right here about 220, and the reason we have drawn this is because it's same thing, like a projection up from this $200 psychological resistance, which I have also set an alert right over here. So now the thing is, if you want an additional confirmation, what you can also do is to set an alert for the 1 GT buy alert, because right now the most recent one is a 1 GT bearish signal, right? So I want to be alerted if, let's say, there is another 1 GT bullish signal coming up. So I will set a buy alert right over here, 1 minute per bar, and I'll just put Google, and that's it. So the trading view will actually alert me when there is another 1 GT bullish signal coming out, which gives me more confirmation on this stock as well. Okay, so I hope that helps, Eugene. I'll pass back the time to Joey to cover the next US stock.
All right, thank you so much. All right, very good there. Z actually mentioned a little bit on how, based on all these stocks that we are covering, right, guys? Of course, we can just turn on the bullish and bearish signals from my 1 GT Pro indicator in seconds, right? But when we turn it on, we see the signals. But what if we don't want to just turn it on and see? We want to be alerted when there is a signal. All right, can that happen? Well, the answer is yes. All right, so we can set an alert for any stocks, any asset classes, and we can be alerted if there's any bullish or bearish signal, right? And that's exactly what we do as well. So we don't have to every day open the chart and see whether the signal comes out, all right? We don't do that, right? We just pretty much set an alert, wait for it, it comes, doesn't come, then doesn't come. All right, so as I say, guys, you want to find out a bit more, right? Find out a bit more in terms of the entire strategy, how perhaps you could have an indicator like this to help you as well. Attend one of those free webinars, all right? And I think that will be in about a few weeks' time as well, all right? So the link will be in the chat again, just one time, okay? Let's move on to the next company. The next company, and that would be, let's see, Joseph, right? Joseph. Super microcomputer, very good. Thanks for really helping us out here, Joseph, and the rest of you as well, who's actually giving a bit of context and not just the name, all right, but more like the context and what's happening. Are you thinking about buying and stuff, right? So you have vested interest, so probably you bought last time, right? Very good. I'm not too sure what price. Could be, could be over here, could be over here, could be over here. I'm not too sure, but never mind. But it's at least I got some context on what is it. So the stock number, you missed the stop loss. Okay, so probably you bought and it went down. All right, suddenly it rise again. All right, again you missed the low price, right? Invest more. Very good. Let's find out. So you can see this is super microcomputer, right? So if you ask me for a super microcomputer, not too bad. I mean, since like beginning of 2024, I mean, look at this, right? Wow, it shot up from here all the way up. Very strong move, and then we have turned a little bit into a downtrend. If you can draw this downward, look at this. I mean, you can draw a downward sloping channel resistance line. Look at this red line. Pretty much it connects the highs and form lower highs, right? So a bit of a downtrend, I would say, in the longer term, because sellers have came out and we form lower highs. So go down, rebound a bit, go lower, rebound a bit, go lower. That's what we call lower highs. All right. And if you look at the kind of like the moving averages, the red and the blue lines, I say, right? Red and blue, both up, no problem. Okay. All right. That's what we saw for some of the counters. But if the red goes below the blue, I mean, in order for the red to be below the blue, you need to go below, you need to cross below, right? So when the red goes below the blue, all right, and both of these two lines start to point down, which is pretty much what we are seeing now, well, there could be some signs of the reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend in the longer term. So want to be a bit more careful. We probably need a few more confirmation. But let me just go to turn on the signals in a matter of seconds. Pump, right? You want GT signals. So look at this, right? Bullish signals. Wow, look at this, right? Very strong bullish signals. I think that was the beginning of 2024, right? 1, 2, 3 bullish signals, and off we went, right? Look at this, all the way up. Bearish signal, another one, push up 220%, right? In like 2 months, all right? And then we got the first bearish signal. So as I say, right, when you get a bearish signal, of course, when that happened, look at the green line. It also started to point down, all right? Flat, and then down some more, and then flat, and then down some more. All right, so probably don't want to buy. I'm hopefully, I mean, you didn't buy it over here. I'm not too sure exactly where you bought, Joseph, but when we see a bearish signal, we don't want to buy, because there is just more selling coming in. It could hit even lower. Why not wait for a bullish signal and then you get in, right? Does it make sense? So you can see right here, we got a bullish signal in November. Yeah, rebounded a bit. A bearish signal, some selling pressure came back, but let's take a look at the most bullish signal. So yeah, we got a new bullish signal coming out on the 7th of Feb. So I think, okay, we are seeing some signs of a short-term trend. All right, look at the green line. The green line was like down, starting to point out. We got a bullish signal. Well, so maybe a bit of a strength coming back, but let me just put things into perspective, right? If I can just draw this very key line. Look at this right over here. I think that would be the psychological $50. All right, 50. All right, SMCI. All right, Joseph, take note. $50 is very, very critical. It was a support level. Look at this right over here. It was a support. We broke down, and this horizontal support became obviously a horizontal resistance. Came down, just couldn't get above it. And right now, you can see that we are quite near it. I mean, we're still below it, but we're quite near it. 42. If it goes to like 47, 48, 49, near 50, right? We may see some selling. So if you're going to buy now, all right, I mean, you're asking, should you invest more? Not say you cannot, right? I mean, we probably not invest, but maybe more like a short-term trade. If you want to get in now, maybe take a trade towards that 49 or near 50. Well, take note that there could be some selling coming back near $50, right? I would prefer it if, we get another confirmation. All right, we get another confirmation, maybe another bullish signal coming out, right? Another bullish signal coming out. If we were to break the $50 mark, as I say, right, we always come down since like September, 4 or 5 months, come down. But right over here, I'm not too sure whether it could happen, but if we can break the 50, right, good. If we see a new bullish signal, the green 20 days continue to point up, well, that would be a confirmation, all right, that we could really start to see a very good reversal for SMCI. Does it make sense? All right. if we can see a firm bullish move above 50. But if it goes to like 50 again, and like the rest like that, goes up here, like what happened over here, came back down, so it might go up there and then come back down again, so that could happen, right? So I want to wait for more confirmation for me. All right, above 50, that will be a confirmation whereby the reversal could continue. We may see a new bullish signal. The short-term trend turns up more. I think all that will all point to more upside. All right, so I hope that helps. Joseph, you have a better idea of what to do, right? So let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so the next one, I think here we go. So Jimmy is asking, should I hold on to Palantir since already went up so much? First of all, Jimmy, congratulations. If you have bought Palantir, I think earlier on, if we follow our 1 GT signals, right around here to here, we already are looking at 128% gain already. And then if you had continued to hold, you're looking at close to about 300% gain already. So if you are sitting on these profits, should you be selling, or your intention is would you want to take some money off the table? But I think firstly, let's look at the 100 and 200 days moving average right here. I think they are still pointing up. They are still pointing up, and we have the 20 days moving average pointing up as well. And then, of course, upon their recent earnings, the prices actually broke above the previous resistance of 84. Currently, the support, I would say, would be around the psychological $100 level as well. So this gap in between here is what some of us will call a rising window support as well. So no shares has been traded within that zone. Okay, so but right now it looks like there's a little bit of a consolidation, under the 120 level. Whether prices can break above this 120 level today, tomorrow, or eventually cannot, I don't know. I cannot tell you as well. But right now, it looks like, yes, the near-term strength is all still present, and we still have a 1 GT bullish signal that actually appeared on the 30th of January as well. So if we were to turn on our trailing support and resistance, this is when you can actually find out where would you actually want to do like a stop limit order, or how high would you want to shift your stop limit orders up to, just in case prices fall below, you still get out with profit. So maybe instead of selling your entire position, create like a stop limit order just below the trailing support level, maybe about 1 to 2% below the trailing support level. Then that's where, if prices fall below this trailing support, you will get out as well with profits. And of course, if the trend continues, like what we said just now, if prices manage to break above, hit higher towards maybe like the 140 level, that's when you actually also want to shift your stop limit orders up to actually follow the trailing support in order to continue to lock in more and more profits. But as of right now, I would say the trend for Palantir is still looking good. How high can it go? No one knows just yet. But what we want to do is to actually make sure that our profits stay in our pocket as well. All right, okay, Jimmy, that's a very, very quick one for Palantir. Maybe I'll pass the time on to Z right now to bring you through the next stock.
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next one that I'll be covering is by SL Fund. So you're asking, can buy any of the S&P ETF? So I'm not too sure which exact ETF but you are looking at, but S&P 500, the one that's the most common one would be SPY lah, because it actually tracks the S&P 500. So for those of you guys who have actually missed the very early market analysis, right, of DJI and S&P 500 by Joey, not to worry, there will be a replay once we have end this live show on our YouTube. All right. Okay, so for going back to SPY, right, this ETF, right, I mean, of course, because it tracks the S&P 500, it moves very much similarly to the S&P 500. And we can see that, at the start of the year, all the way to where we are at now, the uptrend is very, very firm and it's very much intact, right? Prices have actually risen, if we take a look at, at the start of 2024, all the way to, for the entire year, right, about 31st December, right over here, prices have risen at least about, 28% already, right, for the past year, right? And right now, where are we? What are we looking at in terms of the price, right? I would say the support, right, would be at this 580 level right over here, because previously, somewhere in October, prices actually tested this level, which was actually a resistance, right? Back then it was a resistance. It didn't manage to break. You know, it was testing this level, attempting to break it for about a couple of weeks before it really broke above it. Selling came back down, but it managed to still hold above this 580 support level right over here, right? And prices continue to push all the way up to about this level right over here, right? This 610, which I would draw it as a resistance, right? And as what Joey mentioned earlier on for the S&P 500, right? Price is currently attempting to actually break above the key levels, which is what I've drawn here, which is 610. So if you're asking whether can you actually buy it right now, right? I would say I would want to wait for prices to actually break and hold above this 610 for a couple of weeks, or maybe even a couple of days and a couple of weeks, to make sure that it stabilizes and really close above this horizontal support level, horizontal resistance level right over here, to give me another confirmation of entry. Because by then, these 610 resistance would have turned to a support if price can break and hold above it, right over here. And one of the places that we can potentially position ourselves for entry would be near a resistance. So that could be potentially here. But of course, I don't know whether, you know, tonight price will actually break above this 610 or not, because of Trump's policy, right? He's making the market so volatile, right? I mean, of course, if prices cannot break and then it just hover at this and then it comes back down, then this is another potential entry zone as well, because this would be near the 580 key support level. All right, so SL fund, I hope that helps. Those are the potential zones of entries that I would potentially be looking out if I were to look to buy into SPY. Okay, so that would be for SPY. Passing back on to Joey.
All right, let's go. All right, thank you so much. So those of you who are still hanging out with us over here in this live stream of today, Friday, right? Thank you so much. I think we have covered quite a few stocks. In fact, about 10 stocks already. So let me just go through. Right? Let me go through. I think some of you are actually asking about the same stocks that we might have already covered. All right, so we will not cover the same stocks again, obviously. So what happens is that you can watch the replay at the end of this live stream as well. You know, if you're on my email list or you are a client of mine in Philip Securities, you will receive the replay video as well on YouTube. All right. Okay. So let me just go into cover very quickly. All right. What are the stuff that we have covered all the while? All right. Since we started today, so we have covered the markets, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 index, and the first US stock that I covered was CRWD, CrowdStrike, and then we covered AMD, right? AT&T, number 3. Goldman Sachs, number 4. Celsius Holding, I did that. Number 5, PayPal. Number 6, Google, GOOGL. That was number 7. Number 8 is SMCI. Number 9, Bervyn did Palantir. And Z just covered number 10. And that would be the SPY, all right? The S&P 500 ETF. So let me move on to the next company, all right, that some of you are asking about. Let me just see. I think we have Sedi, right? Sedi Chan, you are asking about this Alibaba, all right? The code is BABA. Should I sell or wait? Should I sell or wait? Let me just go to cover very quickly Alibaba. So you can see, right? Alibaba, we got some bullish signals, July, August, September, and there we go from here all the way up. 36%, right? 37%, about 3-4 months. A bearish signal, green line points down, and there we go down, down, down. So when you get a bearish signal from the 1 GT Pro indicator, probably don't want to buy, probably want to take some profit and get out, right? Put the money in the pocket, the one that does hold it all the way back down, you know, back to square one, no point, right? Okay, so we got some, you know, bullish signal, went sideways, a few more bearish signal, but let me go ahead to see what has happened over the past 1 month. Look at this, right? Look at this. We got two new bullish signals on the 24th of Jan, on the 28th of Jan, about 3 weeks back. All right. Why? So I think what happens was, you know, Donald Trump introduced some policies, right? Introduced policies, and that's where it could benefit like many of those tech companies in the China as well. All right, due to this, you know, introducing of tariffs and all that, and we started to see, all right, some strength in some of the Chinese tech firms. Of course, the US tech firms sold off, Chinese tech firms started to rebound. All right, and that was where we got two bullish signals. You can see that the green 20 days moving average line that was going down, 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 flare also started to point up. So if I can just turn on quickly, all right, the trailing support. Look at this, right? So we talk about the trailing support that, you know, when we got the first bullish signal, it pops out, it follows it more. We are obviously still above it. There's still some space, all right, below the prices to it, all right? The green line still pointing up. look at the red and blue line. Well, the longer term trend has been up since last year. All right, so I think looks pretty okay. I think steady. Should I sell or wait? Should I sell or wait? Right. So I think from this question that you're asking is that you probably have already bought it, right? So should you sell or should you do nothing? Should you wait? Very good question. So let me just go to share with you, right? So if I see right now, this would be a resistance level. Take note, right over here. We were right over here on the October, right? And you can see that over the past 2 days, we are right here again. They're 120, the 120, right? Now it's 119.54, right? Very near, but still below it. Does it make sense? All right. So if you can break the 120, I think that is where we can potentially see more upside. Targets could be raised. These two bullish signals in January could still continue to play out, right? So my take is that nothing wrong, as I say, right? There's nothing wrong to what I tell my mentees and my graduates is that there's nothing wrong to sell. Because some people say, if you don't sell, then what comes back down and start, right? So nobody can predict for sure whether next week you go to 140 or 150 or you go back to 100. Nobody knows for sure, all right? So I think it's all about the plan. So I think depends on your position as well. If you're holding quite a huge position, I mean like a few 100,000 or something like that, that is good to also lock in some profits near 120. All right, you can sell half, you can sell 1/3, you can sell 1/4, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? So you can sell some because that's essentially where we saw selling previously. All right, but my take is that I feel that if you can break the 120, we could actually see more upside. All right, and what you want to do is that you can take some profit if you want near the resistance, but the rest of the balance shares that you did not sell, that you did not take profit, right? What you want to do, and that's very important. Of course, that's what we teach and communicate to our graduates as well, is that you want to take steps to protect your profits. Right? You want to take steps to protect your profits by setting what we call a stop loss, so that no matter what, you still make money. So I'm not too sure exactly where you bought, right? If you have got in right over here or here or here, I mean, you are probably sitting on some profits, right? So you want to take steps to protect your profit. So for example, you could set your stop loss maybe below this trailing support, just to give it space, maybe below the 100, right? Below the 100. If you break the 120, the trailing support, I can tell you, it will now it's going up, right? You can see, right, as it goes up. So if this trailing support will continue to go up more and more if prices continue to move up, and that's where you could, set a stop loss and raise it along the way, all right, just below the trailing support to guide you, right? So if you have this 1GT Pro indicator, I think that will be really helpful. That's where you could use it as a guide to really take steps to protect your profits. All right, Sandy, I hope that helps. All right, and let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stocks.
Thanks, Joey. Yep. Okay. So the next US stock I actually want to cover would actually be, I think Simon is asking this. Okay, Tesla. Is it a good time to invest after it was beaten down again? Yes. So of course, I think everybody knows Tesla rallied quite a bit after Donald Trump was elected, and Elon Musk will be one of the appointment holders in his office as well. So prices actually push up close to the 500 level, touching the 480 level before actually sellers actually come in once again. And right now, I think in the last week, we actually broke below this 365 level. So let me just clear up my drawings first. So this 365 level would what we call like a support level previously, and it was broken, hence it was turned into a resistance right now. The immediate support seems to be quite far away at the 275 level, and we're trading right in between right now as well. So what we do not want to actually see would be the 20 days moving average has already started to point down after the recent sell down. So although the 100 and 200 days moving average are still pointing up, we may see further weakness if prices are not able to cross above this 365 level once again. So if you're looking for an entry, I think perhaps if let me just turn on this trailing support and resistance. If perhaps prices are able to break above this 365 level and of course hold above it, we may see a consolidation close to this level, which could potentially give you an opportunity to enter once again. And if prices break above this trailing resistance, that's when we could get a 1GT bullish signal ending the 1GT bearish signal already. So I think for Tesla right now, if you are looking for entry, maybe perhaps not yet, continue to monitor this counter, and perhaps I think what a thing you can do would be to just add an alert for a new 1GT signal to actually show up for you as well. Okay, so I think for Tesla, the upside will also be towards the 480 level, especially, or if prices can break above the 365 level, where you can actually take a position, ride the uptrend towards the 480 level first. All right, okay, so I think that's a very, very quick update on Tesla. So Z, can you bring us through the next one?
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next one that I'll be covering will be ServiceNow. Because Julian Fu is asking, thinking of buying, what would be a good support level? Okay, so looking at ServiceNow, right? I mean, the longer term uptrend based on the red and blue line, right? We can tell that the uptrend is definitely still intact. Both are actually pointing up, right? But you know, right at the start of the year, I mean, we see that, you know, prices have been kind of like going sideways down a bit until it actually broke above, and then we started to see multiples 1GT bullish signal coming out, which the first one actually came out somewhere in 30th on this day, right, 25th of July, and all the way up to this 1GT bearish signal. That's about a 34% increase, so that's a very decent signal right over there. But right now, very recently, on the 30th of January, we actually see a 1GT bearish signal. So 1GT bearish signal, when you see it, right, it doesn't mean that the stock will crash. It just means that there's more selling pressure coming back, right? And it's not exactly good in terms of the short-term trend, because if we look at the 20 days moving average, which is this green line over here that I highlighted, it's actually also pointing down, right? It's actually also pointing down. So short-term trend-wise, not so good, because we are seeing some selling pressure returning plus a 1GT bearish signal. And in terms of, if let's say you're talking about a support level, right? I think one of the support level that we've drawn here is about 960 right over here before, because previously prices back in October, we see that September it neared it, selling pressure came back down. It went even higher somewhere in October, neared it, selling pressure come back down again, right? And then right here, it actually tested it for a couple of days before actually breaking above this 960 level. So it's actually a resistance turning into a support. So this would be one of the levels that maybe I would set a price alert on to actually see if price can actually hold above this 960, provided that the 20 days moving average, right? I don't want to see it continue pointing down, because if it continue pointing down and it breaks this 960, then we may potentially see more weakness towards this 840 level right over here. Okay, this 840. So ideally what I want to see if prices can hold above this 960 plus the 20 days moving average starts to flatten out first. So if you're asking for potential entry, maybe this could be a level that you can actually monitor, but of course do remember to set your stop loss as well, because if prices were to continue to dip down and break below this 960 as mentioned, right, then the potential weakness that we are looking at, it could be towards this 840 level. Okay, so that would be for ServiceNow. I will pass it back to Joey to cover the next US stock.
All right. Okay. Very good. Let me go ahead to cover the next one. And I think that would be a very popular stock that quite a lot of you are asking about. And that would be Meta. All right. I think at least you're asking about Meta. A few more of you asking about Meta platform as well. So let me go to cover Meta. Right, let me just write it down. Okay, so this is Meta right over here. I would say that Meta is one of the stocks that we have caught for it. I've caught for it since last year. Obviously, we have some positions in as well. All right, and started to push up, and you can see that quite clearly in a longer term uptrend, right? Longer term uptrend, just by looking at the red and the blue line. Of course, in the short term, we did see a bit of a weakness. Look at the green 20 days moving average line. Went down a bit. All right, but each time it goes down a bit, it flattens out and it starts going higher. Does it make sense? All right. And over the past like 2-3 months, you see the green line was down flat and it starts to point up. All right, started to point up flat, and then now it's pointing up. So if you ask me right now, right, without even turning on any signals, right, or activating my 1GT Pro indicator signals, right, you see that the longer term trend is up, right over here. And also the short-term trend is up as well, just by looking at the green 20 days moving average line. So it looks pretty good, But now let me just get another insight. Let me just go to remove all the drawings. All right, and let's just see if there are any bullish signals or maybe even bearish one from the 1GT Pro indicator. Like I say, right, you can turn it on any stocks, any asset classes. Pump. There we go. Let's see how it looks. I think it looks pretty okay. All right, I mean, We got, oh, look at it. So we got some bearish signals that was in 2022, all right, pump all the way down. A bullish signals here coming out. Look at it. That was just before the rally, before 2023. Got a bullish signal. The green line points up. Another bullish signal went up even faster. 196%. 196%, all right, in 5 months. Look at this, right? And then, of course, a bit of a weakness, a bearish signal, sideways a bit, a few more bullish signals, and there we go again, all right? There we go again. That would be like another 57% in about 3 months, all right? So let's take a look, right? I think the most recent one was in August right over here. We got a bullish signal, another bullish signal went up faster, another one faster. 44.6%, all right, in about 7 months. Look at this, 44.6%, right, based on this bullish signal. It is still playing out. If I can quickly turn on the 1 GT trailing support level, look at this pump. You can see right over here, that's where we got this trailing support that follows Meta as it moves higher, all right? Are we following it up even closer? Yes, we are. Are we moving up? Yes, because of course the price is moving up, so it's following it to move up also. Does it make sense? All right. So right now you can see still a bit of space, price, is still hovering quite well, all right, based on this space above the trailing support. The green line, as I say just now, also pointing up, all right. So I think it looks pretty okay. At least, all right. I think these are definitely stocks that we are still holding on to it. I mean, it looks pretty good, all right. Maybe we might want to get out if we see a bearish signal, but so far, there are more signs of it pointing up than down, all right. So I think these are definitely stocks that we want to think about buying, all right. And I think Z mentioned just now as well that I think Peter, you have a question as well regarding, like, somebody asking about some questions regarding the indicator. So what happens is that we can actually set an alert. Sorry, we can set an alert right over here, right? So for Meta, we could set a price alert. A price alert would be like, if it, like now it's 728, right? If it go to 735 or 733 pump right over here, pump 738 or something, right? I want to be alerted, pump. That's a price alert. But I could also set another alert, and that would be what we call a technical alert right over here, right? The One Good Trend Pro pump. Look at it right over here. Buy or sell once per bar. So the most recent one would be a bullish signal. So I could put buy or sell, doesn't matter, right? So buy or sell anything. Any buy comes out, any sell comes out, I will receive an app notification. Let me just click on it. Pump. So any bullish signal comes out again, any bearish signal comes out, I will be alerted in seconds. All right, in seconds, and that's where I will maybe want to get out, maybe to buy some more if there's a bullish signal. Does it make sense? All right, and so I think it looks pretty okay. All right, so that is for Meta. That's for Meta. I hope that you have a better idea at least. All right, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so I think the next one, I think Joshua was asking, Joshua asked twice already, can look at GLD and GDX. Okay, so maybe I'll take a look at GLD right here. So this is the SPDR Gold Trust. For those of you looking for exposure into the for some commodities like gold, this is the ETF to look out for. So of course, the 1GT Pro indicator will also work for any ETF that is on trading view as well. So you can also use it to get a quick opinion on those ETF that you're actually looking at as well. Okay, so quickly for Gold or SPDR Gold ETF, we have the 100 and 200 days moving average very clearly, still pointing up. I think in the recent months, the volatility for gold have actually increased as well. And we have finally broken above these $260 level, forming a new support as well. So right now, the 20 days moving average is pointing up, but it's just slightly under this support level that I've just drawn. But prices seems to be showing some good momentum towards this $270. So if actually, I would say the previous support before that was about the 250 level, then the 260 level, and right now, if we do a simple projection upwards, we are testing the next resistance already at the 270 level. So will this level be broken soon? Don't know. But I think what we can actually look out for would be actually this 1GT bullish indicator, that the bullish signals that actually came out sometime in January before prices push higher. So I think if you are looking to add on for more positions for GLD Go, or looking to take some profit as well, I think like what I mentioned just now, one way you can do it is to actually set stop loss orders following the trailing support. So right now you'll be setting it maybe about the 257, 258 level to protect your profits. And if prices manage to break above the 270 level, I think you could potentially hit higher towards the 280 to maybe the 285 level first. But I think we would like to see a little bit more consolidation as well, because prices had not really consolidated just yet. It's just been pushing higher and higher and higher. So not a really a steady uptrend that we actually like to see. Let's see a healthy consolidation before pushing up higher. So I think the next thing you should do is you set some alerts with prices crossing maybe the 271, 272 level to fully be notified when this support or this new support level is able to be formed. All right, Joshua, that's just a very, very quick one for you for GLD. Z, can you bring us through the next one, please?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so I saw David, right, is actually asking this question. Can you give your view for BB? I'm invested and thinking of buying more, but not sure which are the same entry. Okay, so David, let's take a look at BB, right, which is BlackBerry. Yeah. So for BlackBerry, I mean, of course, if we look at 2022 onwards, right, all the way, prices have been going down and down. The downtrend is pretty much intact. I mean, 2023, it kind of like tried to head up a bit, but it is actually kept below this 550 level, right, which was back then a resistance lah. And then prices kept going down to all the way like at $2 level right over here, right? And recently we started to see some form of reversal, uptrend reversal playing out for this counter, because the rate actually crosses the blue line, and the 20 days moving average is also pointing up, right? It's also pointing up. So the short-term and long-term trend is actually heading in the same direction. So that's a good thing. And you are vested, but I'm not too sure where you actually bought in, right? So let me just turn on the signals. So the very first signal somewhere this last year, it actually came out in September, right? So let's just take a look. So it came out in September, and right now there's no exit signal yet. Prices has really gone up about 148%. Right, so I'm not too sure where you actually enter, but if you enter quite early on, in November last year, or maybe even in the start of the year, right, that would be great. I'm pretty sure you are sitting on some profits. So what you can potentially do, right, and you are thinking of adding more positions. So adding more positions, one way that we can look at is look at the support level that you can potentially position yourself for entry, like we've mentioned earlier on. So remember this 550, which was previously a resistance, now it has turned to become a support. So this would be one of the areas that maybe you can look at to position yourself for entry. But of course, because now since you are already sitting on profits, right, one way that you can actually utilize and make use of this trailing support resistance function is that if you're already sitting on profits, what you can do is that, let me just change this to a dotted line. So what you can do, right, is to actually raise your stop limit order accordingly to actually protect your profits. So don't let your wins, right, become losses. Like if prices were to suddenly reverse, maybe due to some bad news or something like that, at least you actually lock in your profits. So what you can do is use the stop loss, the trading support, right, as a guide to place your stop limit order to protect your profits. All right, so in terms of entry, like I've mentioned, if let's say you are looking to enter maybe somewhere here near the support zone, would be where you can place some price alerts. But at the same time, do remember to place your stop limit order to protect your profits, all right? Because since you're already, if you have bought in somewhere here already up 148%, that's really very good. Don't be greedy. Put the money in your pocket first, right, before actually thinking of buying more. Okay, so that would be for BB. So I'll pass the time back to Joey for the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the next stock. So I think let me cover. I think John is asking about this stock called Exxon. All right, Exxon 2, please. All right, AXO, and that is the code. So this is Exxon. All right, John, I hope you're still here. All right, so this is Exxon right over here. And I would say not too bad, not too bad. You can see that we got some bullish signals in August last year. Longer term uptrend intact. We were pretty much consolidating. All right, so we got a couple of bearish signals as it just moves sideways, up and down, up and down. Let me just turn on, you can see. Right? So when we get the bearish signals and bullish signals just coming out, it just means a bit of a consolidation. But I think it really sparked off when we broke the 320 resistance right over here. All right, and there we go all the way up All right, got a bearish signal, comes back down a bit. 20 days moving average line also started to point down. All right, so let's take a look at what has happened over the past 2 weeks. All right, longer term trend based on this red and the blue line, it is still pointing up. So I think longer term trend has been intact. All right, I say since like 2023, right? In fact, since like end of 2023, right? So 1.5 years, we have been in a longer term uptrend, right? In the short term, well, we got a bit of a selling here and there, right? So as I say, right, short term also, in fact, just in December, we got some selling in the short term. But right now, you can see that the short term trend has obviously turned up already just by looking at the green line. The green line that was going down, 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 also started to point up. All right, so this bullish signal started to come out. So this bullish signal, just to be clear, I think some of you might be confused, right? Is it because the green line points up and then the bullish signal comes out? The answer is no, right? The answer is no, right? This green line pointing up, or this short-term trend turning up, is another separate confirmation by itself. All right, it's nothing to do with the green the bullish signal coming out. Right, this bullish signal came out because solely we actually went above, right? Look at this trailing resistance. So we got a bearish signal, the trailing support, sorry, the trailing resistance, all right, pops up. It follows it as it goes lower, but thankfully it did not go down and down, and it never follow it go down some more. All right, it rebounded, all right, and finally we attempted to break the trailing resistance. So that's a sign of strength, because if you go back above a trailing resistance with the 20 days moving average line as another confirmation pointing up as well, that could be signs of strength. That could be signs of strength. So I think right now, I think for John, I think it looks pretty okay. All right, I think anything above that 620 or 640 level, it looks pretty okay. We might be seeing, let me just go ahead to just turn this off. I think we might be seeing this resistance level right over here, right? So you can see, if you click of a button, this red line is what we call a horizontal resistance, right? I did not draw it. I mean, I can draw it on my own, but I turn it off, pump, I turn it on, off, on. All right, so it's pretty much the line that is the horizontal resistance. All right, so right over here. All right, so I think if we could break this resistance, so let me just draw it for you again. I mean, this is what I draw. All right, but it's pretty much the same as what it comes out. Look at this right over here. All right, so you can see this one is I draw one. Let me put it back over here. And if we were to break above this 700, that is the 700 psychological resistance level, right? If you can break the 700, well, I can tell you that we would see more upside momentum, right? There could really be even more strength, all right, whereby targets could be revised above 700 all the way to 800 to maybe even 900. I think this 700 is key, right? Now it's still 664, right? I think over the past 1 week, we near the 700. Selling pressure is coming back, which is normal. I mean, 700, as I say, we sold off there. It's a psychological resistance level. So I think we can expect some selling over there, right? But I think for me, my take is that if we can go above that 700, we go to like 702, 03, 04, 05, 010 or something, right? That would be a good thing. I think we may see a bullish signal coming out. That will be another catalyst of even more upside. All right, so that's for Exxon. I hope that helps. John, let me just pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so the next one I would like to cover, I think Parlesh is, not too sure if I got the name correct. Sorry if I got it wrong. Parlesh is asking about ETF SLV. So I believe that is the iShares Silver ETF that you're actually looking at. Chance to break the 29.5 resistance. Yes, firstly, I will agree with you that the 29.5 is where I would draw my resistance as well. Why? Is because prices have actually tested once, twice, consolidated underneath, finally breaking above, not being able to hold above, tested it, and now we are back here once again. But what we actually want to actually look out for right now is for a firmer uptrend. Is whether the uptrend is still firm or not. The 100 days moving average seems to be flattening out a bit, with the 200 days moving average as well. So I mean, the longer term trend is still not too bad, but I think the 20 days moving average is right about to cross the 100 days moving average right now as of yesterday. So if we are able to finally break above, I'm not too sure if we are able to break above today, tomorrow, nobody can tell you. We are able to see the next upside target towards the $32 resistance level with the with the 29.5 level being a new support as well. So if we were to let me just quickly turn this off and turn on the horizontal support and resistance lines. Okay, so the horizontal and resistance lines is right around the 29.5 that you have drawn as well. So for those of you who are not really very confident in drawing your support and resistance, the One Good Trend Pro indicator can help you to do so just by clicking a simple button as well. So if we are able to cross above the 29.5 resistance, we will see another 1GT bullish signal that could come out as well. So that is what we would like to see as well. So, but if you are sitting on currently on some profits, Paresh, I think what you want to do is maybe if you want to sell away a little bit of it, half of it, 1/3 of it, lock in some profits, it is completely okay as prices are very close to the resistance level right now, and leave some of these positions to maybe perhaps ride the uptrend, especially if you feel that this 29.5 level is able to be broken towards this 32 level. All right, so it's a very quick one for iShares Silver. I think Z, can you bring us through the next one?
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next one, I was just scrolling through some of the comments very early on, right? Then I saw Nelson is actually asking about ELF. Nelson, I hope you are still here. So actually, I quite like ELF lah, because ELF is actually like a beauty product brand, right? Their makeup is not bad, it's quite affordable, but the stock, I think, not so good lah. Let's take a look at it, okay? So for ELF, right, I mean, for the start, from 2023 all the way to 2024, price has been looking great. Uptrend is pretty much intact, right? And then actually only somewhere in September and October of 2024, we started to see price breaking down, and that's where we start to see the downside reversal for this stock. And in fact, if we were to look at this, right, can you guys actually see this? So this M, right, is what we actually call a double top lah, okay, and price actually break below this double top, plus the fact that you see the moving averages 20 days cross below the longer term, and 100 days cross below the 200 days, and where we are at right now, the blue above the red above the green, and they are all pointing down. So not so good, right? Not so good. So I'm not sure if you're thinking about buying ELF or selling ELF, but in terms of analysis wise, I think ELF stock right now, the downtrend is looking pretty much intact lah. Plus there is quite strong short-term momentum in terms of the downtrend. All right, so the support that I'm looking at right now, right, back towards this level at around this 60 psychological support right over here, because previously this was a resistance back in 2023. So this is the best gauge that we can have in terms of support, right? And very recently, I think on the 6th of February, they actually announced their earnings. Then probably the earnings not too good, and we actually see the price actually get down, right? But it's still holding above the $60 right now. So that would be one of the support level that I'll be taking note of, especially for this particular stock, because if price were to break below this 60, right, and we will definitely see more weakness back to this counter, and perhaps towards this $47 level right over here, and it's because of this support that we have drawn back in 2023. All right, so as of now, I would say that for ELF, if you're thinking of buying, don't buy yet, because this 20 days moving average is still pointing down. At least we want to see, heading sideways first, and actually able to hold above this $60 support level first before actually thinking about entering lah. But in terms of the longer term trend, I would also suggest, if you are looking at buying, at least wait for this 100 and 200 days moving average to also head sideways, and maybe have some signs of it pointing up before actually entering a counter, because we only want to buy when the trend is actually up. So right now the trend is down, so for this counter I would just monitor first. All right, so Nelson, that would be for ELF. I hope that helps. I'll pass the time back to Joey for the next stock.
All right, thank you so much. Let me move on to the next stock, and that would be, let's see, I think Video Junkie Forever. Could you review this company called UAL? All right, I know we have some questions, guys. I know some of you are typing about the US stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Some of you might have some questions on like the strategy, or maybe even the 1GT Pro indicator. Good, type in the chat as well, guys. We'll do our best to cover if you have any questions. But before I talk about this stock called UAL that Video Junkie Forever is asking, right? I think we have some questions like from Peter, right? Peter, can the 1GT alert potential trade without us setting alert? Right, so can you be alerted without setting the alert? No, you will need to set the alert to be alerted. All right, Peter. So essentially, as I say, right, this 1GT Pro indicator, we can pull it out on any single asset classes, any charts, any stocks, whatever, US stocks, Singapore stocks, Hong Kong stocks, any stocks you want, Germany stocks, Canada stocks, Thailand stocks, any stocks, right? Doesn't matter. Any asset classes, gold, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, FX, whatever, doesn't matter, right? So we can have a quick opinion in seconds. And what you want to do is that, if you turn it on, you can see it. And that is what it looks like, right? In terms of some bullish and bearish signals. All right. So you want to turn it on, and with, actually, this takes a second. All right. What you could do is just to set an alert right over here. 1GT Pro, once per bar, buy or sell alert. Do it once, and that's it. So for that asset class, you will be alerted when there are any bullish signals. All right. If not, how would the system know you want to be alerted? Does it make sense to know you alert you on a few thousand stuff, right? So that's how it works. That's how it works. Basically, you can set an alert, and that's where you will be alerted. All right. Okay. So let me move on, and let's just cover UAL right now. As I say, guys, whatever that we'll be covering today, right? We're just giving a quick opinion, a quick deep dive. A quick kind of like a glimpse into the entire strategy, or maybe even how it looks like on the 1GT Pro indicator. But if you want to find out more, all right, in terms of the whole framework, checklist, step by step, sequentially, what do we do first, and then second and third and fourth, and the confirmations that we need, attend one of those free webinars. All right, I'll just put the link in the chat one more time. Attend a free webinar. All right, and that's where we will break it down for you. We'll break it down for you. And not only that, as I said, right now, what we're doing is that you guys are typing the name of the stocks that you want a quick opinion on. Does it make sense? All right, whether is it UAL, which I'm going to cover, or whether is it like Alibaba, or whether is it like ELF that Z just covered, or Exxon, or BlackBerry. All right, these are stocks that you guys are asking about. So some of you might be asking that, hey, I'm totally new. I don't even have a stock that I could let you know to type inside, right? I don't even know there's this stock called Apple or Microsoft. All right, then what should I do? All right, well, very good question. That's exactly what we'll cover as well. How do we actually filter out the top, right? 1% of stocks, right? High potential, high probability stocks, right? Top 1% of stocks in the US market, in the Singapore market, right? Before being guided on exactly when to buy and sell them, before guided on taking an entry or an exit position. That's exactly what we'll cover as well. So attend a free webinar, and that's where we'll share more. All right, and I'm sure you guys will get more value from there as well. All right, it could be a bit clearer if you join us in future AMAS live session as well. All right, so I think the link is in the chat. This is the QR code. If you're on your computer, you can use your phone to just scan this QR code as well. All right, and the link is in the chat. Okay, so let's move on. Right, so very quickly, this is UAL. Very quickly, I think we're just going through one more round. All right, me and then Bervyn and Zee, and then after that, we'll go through into the bonus stock that we'd like to share with you. Right, this is where at the end of it, each of us will share one bonus stock you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside. So hang in there. I think we have still more than 150 of you still joining us over here. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So this is UAL, right? So I think not too bad. UAL, United Airlines. I'll not go too far, but you can see we had some bearish signal somewhere in June last year, and down we go. Right, down we go. Couple of two bearish signal. We went from like 52 all the way to $40, right? That would be a sell down. So what happens is that we have been talking about bullish signals, and then it starts to go up. But the point here is that even if you have a bearish signal coming out, don't you think that it can help you to maybe get out first? Rather than hold it all the way down. 24% sell down, right? If you were just to do nothing, if you're not alerted, if you didn't even know about this bearish signal, you could have saved 24, 23%. Does it make sense? Why not get out first? Wait for it to go down until you cannot go down, all right? And wait for it to turn back up. Like we have a new bullish signal, and that's exactly what happened, right? Look at this right over here. We got a new bullish signal. And why do we have a bullish signal coming out? Well, I can quickly turn on the trailing support and resistance. Look at this right over here, right? Two bearish signals pop out, trailing resistance comes out, and it follows it as it goes down. Of course, the green line also started to turn down. As another confirmation, all right? Down, down, down. Right away, can you see, guys, that we actually broke above the trailing resistance, right? That give it space to move lower if possible, right? But thankfully, never moved lower, right? We went above the trailing resistance. There we go, all right? A trailing support pops up, and it follows it. Wow, look at this, right? There we go all the way up, and there's no more bearish signal. So I think from here, So I'm not too sure exactly where you bought this stock, Video Junkie, but I mean, if you've got it any time here, I mean, from this first bullish signal to all the way here, 133%, all right, in just about 5 to 6 months. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's take a look at where we are right now. I think we got another bullish signal. It is starting to consolidate, So the green line, it was going up, flat up, and then now maybe a bit flattening out. But are we still above this trailing support? Yes, we're still above. In fact, I think yesterday, we actually kind of like went below it, but then came back up, right? So thankfully, we're still above it, right? So as I said, there's space given to be above it, right? It should be okay. We stay above it. It accounts for the volatility, give it allowance, all right? And we stay above this trailing support, we are still okay. Even though we went below it, but we came back up. So I think it's still okay. So I think this is a kind of like a gauge, right? If we can hold above maybe the 98 to 100 level, it is still okay. Right? If we were to go below the trailing support, then not so good. That's where potentially we might see a bearish signal coming out. All right, bearish signal coming out, and that's where we could see some weakness in the short term. And of course, if the green 20 days moving average line also now it's flat, right? But we start to also point down, they're not so good. That's where you want to probably take some profit and get out. I mean, 131%, don't need to be greedy lah. All right, let's just stocking some profits, get out. Maybe wait for a new bullish signal, and that's where you could get back in again. All right, so that is for UAL. I hope that you have a better picture right now, all right, of where we are. I think it looks okay. 98 to 100 will be a near-term support level. Stay above those levels, still okay. Resistance, maybe around here, 115. Okay, right over here, 115. That could be where we might see some selling coming back again. All right, so Bervyn, this bring us through the next US stock.
Okay, thanks, Joey. I think the next one I want to actually look through will be actually this AVGO. This is a counter that I actually have on my own watch list as well. Not too bad. I've been monitoring this counter, but here are just some of the key points that I'm actually looking out for. The prices had actually been kept under this 185 level for me since June of 2024. Tested it, and then when it finally had a good earnings result, prices actually broke above higher towards this 210 level, firmly clearing out this 185 level. But I think recently prices have actually broke below this 210 level for a couple of days before it quickly climbed above it as well. In I think the last 2 weeks. But now the 100 days moving average and 200 days moving average are still pointing up. So that is a good sign that the longer term uptrend since 2023 is still intact at this point. But the 20 days moving average would be a little bit of a concern previously, but right now it had already started to point up. So I think if you are looking to get in, I think some are setting their support areas around the 215 to the 220 level. I think that is where a little bit of bargain hunting actually came in, as you can see, and then prices started to consolidate again after that. So if you're looking to get in, this is potentially one of the levels that you are looking to buy as well, to join along with the bargain hunting. But if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to sell, I think the level to watch out for would be close to this 250 level. So about the 245 to the 250 level is where I will put like my take profits or my target levels at currently. So I mean, if you are looking to sell, nothing wrong to be selling here, because as you can see, every time prices approach this level, you see sellers coming back in very quickly as well. So if we are able to clear this level finally after consolidating since December last year under this level, I think the next upside would be roughly about the 285 level. So the 285 to 290 level would be where I would draw my upside targets to if this level gives way. So another thing to take note of, because there is currently a 1 GT bearish signal, we want to actually have, let me just clear out my drawings first. We want the prices to actually clear above or break above the 245 trailing resistance level as well. So I've got alerts being set up for me already to alert me if there are any new 1 GT bullish or bearish signals, just for me to be able to also get in on this counter as well. So I think if you're continuing to look at AVGO, still a very good counter. I think longer term trends are still very much in our favor right now. So I think that is a quick one for EVGO Broadcom. Z, can you bring us through the last US stock before we talk about our bonus stocks?
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so the last one that I'll be covering today will be by Kok Lim, right? FTNT. So that will be Fortinet, right? So Fortinet, well, this counter actually not too bad. I'll definitely be adding into my watch list as well, because you see that, you know, somewhere in August last year, right, price action actually really started, right, and the moving averages has also started to point up, both the short term and the longer term, the green and the blue and the red line, right? And this is when, you know, earnings came out, prices went up, consolidated sideways for a bit, then earnings came out again, shot up, consolidated sideways for a bit, and very recently earnings came out, but of course I don't know whether it will consolidate sideways for a bit before heading up, because the thing is that past performance of the stock doesn't mean that it will be exactly like how it will perform in the future. Okay, so that could be potentially, I mean, it could move like that as well. Again, I'm not too sure, but we shall see, but let's take a look at the key levels first. Okay, so in when the earnings came out here, right, I mean, of course, we also see a 1GT bullish entry signal, but as of now, I mean, we also don't see a 1GT bearish exit signal as of yet. And if we were to do a projection, right, price have actually gone up about 68% already. So if you have already gotten in, or you're still holding on to some position of FTNT, congratulations. Do remember to actually lock in some profits, take some profits along the way as well, you know, and continue riding the uptrend with your balanced position. All right, so for now, let's take a look, right? So in terms of the immediate support, right, I would say it's at about this $100 psychological support level right over here. So this $100, right, is a psychological number, and it's usually also a very key and strong support level. Why? Because we can see that back in Q4 of 2024, right, prices actually tested this 100 level multiple times, right? And it was back then, it was actually a resistance, until when somewhere in February, right, price actually broke and closed above this 100 and actually headed even higher, right? And it actually headed towards this 110. And I believe this stock was actually one of the stocks that we have covered a couple of weeks back in our AMAS US live session as well. And this projection was actually from here, right? Because it was actually doing a sideways consolidation phase for a couple of months, right? And then we actually projected up. And right now, price is actually attempting to actually break this 110 psychological resistance as well. So where would the next target be, right? The next target, we can actually do the same thing again, project it up, and it will be somewhere near this 120 level right over here. Right, I mean, of course, I'm not sure if price will actually break above this level and hold above this level tonight, but if it does and manage to hold above it, potentially you can see it head towards these new targets right over here. Okay, so that would be a really quick one for FTNT. So now I'll pass the time back to Joey, and we can actually start going through our bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, and that would be for this stock called Fortinet, right? FTNT. Okay, very good. So now, very simple, guys. Before we share with you guys 3 US stock that is in our watch list, right? So me, Bervyn, and Z will each share with you guys 1 US stock each that we like, that has been in our watch list. Of course, we did spot some bullish signals coming out as well. It looks pretty good on the chart and the trend as well. The indicators are all looking pretty bullish, right? So that's where we'll share with you guys. But before I go into that, guys, very simple. I want to just go ahead to cover very quickly and just list out all the stocks that we have covered. So in case we missed any of your stocks, or maybe you ask later as well, actually we might have already covered it, right? So you can watch the replay to find out a bit more, all right, in terms of the analysis, all right, later, okay? So very simple. Starting, we covered the markets, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 index, right? And then after that, we talk about this stock called CrowdStrike, CRWD, and then we covered AMD, AT&T. Number 4 was Goldman Sachs. Number 5, Celsius Holding. PayPal. Number 6. Number 7, Google, GOOGL. We covered SMCI. All right. Number 9 was Palantir. The code is PLTR. And Z, number 10, covered the SPY, which is pretty much the S&P 500 ETF, right? And then I covered number 11, Alibaba. 12 is Tesla. Number 13, ServiceNow. Number 14 is Meta, all right, Meta Platforms. Number 15, GLD, all right. And number 16 was BlackBerry I then went on to cover Exxon as number 17. Bervyn covered SLV, an ETF, all right, and then Z covered ELF. Number 20 would be United Airlines. The code is UAL. 21, Broadcom, AVGO. And finally, number 22, which Z has just covered, and that would be FTNT, right? Is it? Yeah, that would be FTNT. Okay, very good. So that would be, I think, 14net. All right. Okay, so let me move on right now. All right. And before we even cover like the US stocks that we like, guys, how many of you got value? How many got value? Just type V, guys, type V in the chat. Let us acknowledge all of you for just being here before we even talk about the US stocks. How many got value so far in the entire live session that we've run for almost, I would say almost 2 hours? Just type V for value. If you got some value, especially if you have covered your stocks, let me know. Type V for value in the chat. Okay, let's see. We have Grace got value. Thank you so much. Value. Video Junkie. Thank you, Joey. Awesome. Thank you, John, as well. Chising value. Awesome. Right, very good. So I hope that we have covered your stocks. And I say, right, guys, if we did not manage to cover your stocks, our apologies. Right, we hope that in the next AMAS live, you'll cover your stocks as well. Right, so really appreciate you guys just staying here. Palvesh, thank you. Joey, Bervyn and Zee. Awesome. Thank you so much, Palesh. All right, we have Ping, Mike, Alex, Top Value, ABC. Okay, very good. CJ, Choy as well. Good to see you here, Sichua. All right, okay, very good. So a lot of value, and that's the point of this whole entire live show, just to add value, just to give you guys an idea of the stock that you guys are asking about, and hopefully get a better opinion as well. Victor, thank you so much. All right, Dave, thank you. Jimson. Okay, so let me move on right now. To the 3, all right, US stocks. So I'll talk about one first right now. And the first stock will be this company called Shopify. And sorry, just one more thing, guys. One more thing, right? So I know today we are talking about the US market, And just want to share with you guys things in case some of you might not know about these, right? So me, Bervyn and Zee, we are actually all top brokers in Phillip Securities, where we are all brokers right here, remisiers in Phillip Securities. And for those of you who are not yet a client of mine in Phillip Securities, all right, essentially, as a client of ours in Phillip Securities, that's where we do share some of these services, right, in terms of getting some of our top ideas by WhatsApp, live, daily, for free, all right, so that you know exactly what stocks to actually focus on. And that's what we do share with our VIP clients in Phillip Securities. So in case, I think most of you might be clients of mine in Phillip Securities. That's where we actually send out a note to our clients, but some of you might be just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook. You have no idea who we are. All right, but if you want to find, if you got value and then you found that you got some value from the stocks that we covered, even though it's the US market, if you want to get some of those top ideas, Singapore ideas, updates daily by WhatsApp for free, check it out. The link is right in the chat. You can scan the QR code right over here as well. All right, and that's where you get some service from your broker. With us as your broker. So I'm not too sure where you're trading, but if you're trading, you probably need a trading account, right? How do you buy and sell stocks? So you probably need a trading account, right? So if you're just logging into your trading account, you buy and sell, it's just an app or online website or platform. Nobody contacts you, nobody WhatsApp you, video, ideas, updates, nothing, right? Then please check it out. The link is right in the chat. That's where we provide more personalized service by WhatsApp. And you do get some of our ideas much faster daily, all right, by WhatsApp. All right, so far so good, guys. So that's the link in the chat, right? In case some of you who are not yet clients, check it out. The link's right in the chat. Okay, very good. So let me move on right now. To this stock that has been in my watch list for quite a while. And this US stock, my first bonus stock I share with you, and that would be Shopify, right? The code is SHOP. Okay, so this is Shopify right over here. All right, interesting. Why do I like this stock? Well, essentially, right, since like August last year, actually, if you ask me in like beginning of 2024, I didn't really like it, right? Because we had some bearish signal. Look at this, right? Bearish signal, and it starts going down from like $90 to $60, right? Down. But it started to wake up, right? It started to wake up somewhere around August, right over here, all right? And it came back to my watch list because we got a bullish signal. All right, the 20 days moving average line also started to turn back up, a bit more flat, and it started to turn up. So if you look at it in perspective, right, since August, we actually have a couple of bullish signals right here. All right, in September, we got 2 more. In November, we got 1 more, and it started to move up even faster. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, of course, that would be, if you follow us, that would be like about 72 all right, 70, 71, 72%. It is about 4 or 5 months, all right? But then we got a bearish signal coming out. Why? I mean, okay, if I can just turn it on, I think you guys would know why we actually have a bearish signal. Let me just turn on the trailing support right over here. So you can see, right? We got a bearish signal coming out. Why? Obviously, because this trailing support since August that's been following up 170%, right? How many percent? From here to here, all right? It follows it up all the way to here. Oh, sorry, 70%, right? 70% about 4 or 5 months, right? One day, all right, you can see we actually went below this trailing support. So as I say, right, this trailing support, it gives us an idea, a very quick idea of, are we, staying above it? First of all, if you're staying above it, it's good, right? Are we staying a bit above it such that, because allowance is given, you ought to stay above it if you are bullish, if you are good, right? But if you go below it, all right, we give you the space you needed, but yet you still go below it, then you're not so good. Does it make sense? All right. So you can see right over here, we got a bearish signal. Green line, obviously, that was going up, started to point down. So you want to be careful, take some profits, get out. And that's what we did as well. Take some profit. And it was a bit boring, nothing much, right? For 2 weeks, went sideways. A trailing resistance pops up. But over the past 2 weeks, it seems like it's woken up again. All right. We got new bullish signals coming out. Yes, we attempted to break above the trailing resistance. So if you ask me right over now, well, the red line, 100 days moving average line is up. Blue is up. The red is above the blue. So longer term trend has been up. I mean, since like last year, all right? Since last year, in fact, yeah, since November, it's been up, all right? The short term has turned up as well just by looking at the green 20 days moving average. And as you can see, right, we got 3 new bullish signals come out. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So number 1 was because we broke the trailing resistance. What about this second and third, bullish signal? Why did it come out, right? Well, I can also draw right over here. You can see that we actually have a little bit of a resistance, a horizontal resistance, somewhere around the 120. You can see it touched, came down. We're trying to go above it, but you can see that now we are actually attempting to break the 120. In fact, yesterday we went to 127, which is quite a good break, a firm move above the 120. So this is the resistance that I draw. You can see we kind of like attempted to break above it. We're still above it. This is what I draw. But if, I can kind of like just remove what I draw and the click of a button, pump. You can see there is a red line that comes up here. Of course, if you extend it, the same thing, right? Same thing. We have broken the 120. So I think it looks pretty okay. There could potentially be more upside. Let me just remove all the drawings. I think targets, if we stay above the 120 or maybe even above the 110, targets could be revised, right, all the way maybe towards the 150. I think that's potentially where we might see more selling coming back. Some selling, right? There'll be another 20-30% upside somewhere to 140 to 150, right? So this is Shopify. We got some bullish signals. It looks good. The trend is turning back up. It looks like it's woken up again. You might want to put this stock in your watch list, all right? And that will be the first US stocks you might want to watch as well. All right, so let me just pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover his US stock that he has been watching and he wants to share with you guys. Bervyn, all yours.
Thanks, Joey. I think Spotify is one of those that I need to put in the watch list as well. So my stock, I think if you have been following me for the past few weeks, my stock will be this stock called Visa. So the stock code is just V. So very simply, I think if you have been following me, I think we started covering this when we was about the 320 level, when prices were still trading slightly under the $320 level, when it was previously a resistance as well. So then back then prices has tested it, and then finally sometime in mid of January, it had actually broken above this 320 level and pushed even higher. So right now I would say this level is clearly a support level already. And then right now prices are just trading slightly under the 360 resistance level at this point. So I'm still looking at this counter very bullish about it so far, especially with the 20 days moving average still pointing up. I mean, don't have to talk about the 100 and 200 days moving average because it has been firmly up since sometime in September back then. So I think the 20 days moving average still showing signs of momentum, and if prices are looking to test this 360 level, perhaps maybe you will see a little bit of a selling come back in for profit taking. or some of us are looking to lock in our profits as well. So if you have been following, if you have got into this counter, perhaps this is one of the areas you want to lock in some of your profits, sell a bit of your positions, and then to see if prices are finally able to break above or consolidate below just for a little bit, and then finally break above towards where I would say the next upside could be drawn towards the psychological $400 as well. So if we are looking at the 1GT signals, the signal since October of 2024 is still very valid at this point. And after this signal had came out, we had right up all the way to about 23% so far. 23% so far, slow and steady, but this is the kind of counter that I like, a little bit of healthy consolidation before pushing higher as well. So if I were to turn on my trailing support and resistance lines, you can see that prices have been consistently staying above. Maybe only perhaps on this day prices came close and test the trailing, the trailing support as well. And then thankfully, like what Joey said, we didn't break it. Then prices then pushed higher as well. So if you are looking for maybe an entry into Visa right now, where would your key levels be? I think if you're okay with a more aggressive entry, what you could be looking out for could be a breakout above this 360 level, where you can get in for a more aggressive trade towards the 400 level. So I have more alerts being set up right here at above the 360 levels. Let me know of any more new 1GT bullish signals that could come out, and if this resistance finally gives way. So I will be continuing to monitor Visa. So I think that is all for my bonus stock. Z, can you bring us through your favorite stock?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, so my bonus stock for today that I would like to share with you guys would be this counter called Intuitive Surgical, and the code is ISRG. So basically, just a bit of info, right? Just in case you guys don't know what is this, right? This is actually a health technology company because they actually specializes in robotic assisted surgical. So you just think of technology and healthcare kind of mixed together. Okay. But let's just take a look at this, right? And let's just take 1 second to appreciate how beautiful this uptrend is. Because if we take a look at it, it's very slow and steady and it keeps going up, right? And it's going sideways, and then after that hit higher, sideways, hit higher, sideways, hit higher. So this is the kind of like steady uptrend we want to position ourselves into, right? Because for me, I don't really like those, counters that shoot up like immediately, because then I don't know where the support level is at, right? Okay, so let's going back to this ISRG, right? Longer term uptrend and shorter term trend, right? Both are actually intact. Why? Because we all see that all three of them are actually still heading up. So it's very clear that the uptrend for this counter is still intact, right? Then let's just turn on the signals, right, to actually have a look as well. So for the signals, over the past year, we actually have a couple of 1GT bullish signal coming out, but of course, there's also 1GT bearish signal coming out when we see some selling pressure actually return right over here. But very recently, we actually do see a 1GT bullish signal coming out on this day at 15th of January, right? And as of now, there is still no exit signals as of yet, right? But prices, since the last 1GT bullish signal came out, right over here, right, prices have actually gone up about 30+% already. So that's a pretty good decent amount, I would say, for a slow and steady uptrend. All right. So let's just turn on the trailing support and resistance to actually have a look as well. Okay, so over the past few months, right? Since even July, we see that price head up. It actually goes sideways, head up, goes sideways again. And there are times whereby we actually do see the trailing support actually going horizontally for a bit, right? And remember, we always want to buy when it's near a support level, right? So these are the places where I want to take note to actually position myself for a potential entry, right? And right over here, do we see this happening again? Yes, we actually see the horizontal support level going sideways again. So this would be one of the levels that I would actually look out for to position myself for entry as well. So I've already, you see this black arrow over here, I already set a price alert over here. If prices were to actually head back to this level, this is the level that I could potentially position myself for entry. All right. And if we take a look at just the price action on its own, right? I mean, of course, if I were to draw my support and resistance level, this is somewhere where we see, previously it was actually a resistance, right? Back in December, prices actually, attempted to break above this 550, but unable to for at least like a month or so until on this very day it actually break. And so far it has still been holding above this 550 level. So let me just change this to green. So this 550, I would say, would be one of the support level that I would take note of as well. Okay, and in terms of resistance wise, I mean, quite clearly we can actually see some selling pressure returning near this level right over here, which is this 625. So maybe 615 to 625. This is the resistance zone that we are looking at, whereby some selling pressure can actually return. Okay, so if you were to position yourself for entry over here, right, like what I've mentioned, somewhere near the support level, and you also want to think about where to place your stop loss, right? So because you always need a trading plan before you actually enter any counter. So if let's say here would be your potential entry, like I've mentioned, here could be your potential targets as well, maybe to take some partial profits, right? To take some partial profits, because the uptrend is actually still looking great, right? Short term also looking good, long term also looking good. There's no wrong to actually take some partial profits at the resistance level, right? So now we talk about stop loss. Where can we potentially place our stop loss level? So we can potentially place our stop loss level just slightly below the support. So maybe somewhere around like 545, 540, because I've already drawn this 550, right, which is the horizontal support level that I've actually mentioned earlier on. So this would be a level that potentially I could also set my stop loss level right over here. So that would be a pretty comprehensive trading plan, I would say, because there is a potential entry, there's a potential target, and there is also a potential stop loss that you can place. So I would say this ISRG is definitely in my watch list, and I already set my alerts for all of this for this stock. So if you like, maybe you can actually add it into your watch list and keep a lookout for it as well. All right. So that would be for ISRG. I will pass the time back to Joey to actually wrap up today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. I think this stock is one that you guys want to watch as well. Intuitive Surgical, right? ISRG. In fact, Z only informed me about this stock a few months back, and I realized that it's in fact one of the stocks that perhaps I could have gone in earlier as well. But it's gone up. Doesn't matter. All right, it's gone up a little bit more expensive than last year, but it doesn't matter. It seems like there could still be even more upside, like Z had mentioned. We're still holding above the trailing support. I hope you guys like this stock. Like I like it as well when Z shared with me. All right. So I think we have come to the end. I think we have come to the end of today's session. I think we come to the end of today's session. So thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much, guys, for just hanging out with us over here for the past almost 2 hours. Really appreciate your time. All right. And let us know, guys, if you're still here. All right. Thank you so much. We have Josephine. Thank you. Hi, Neil. Casey, Neil. Thank you as well. All right, just type a thanks in the chat so that we can acknowledge all of you for just being here. All right, and very good to have you over here. And what happens, guys, is that the next Ask Me Any Stocks live session, like today, right, we pretty much talk about the US market. We covered US stocks. I know some of you at the beginning, you asked about the Singapore stocks like Tuan Sing and some other Singapore stocks. Apologies, guys, today is US. So if you want to ask about the Singapore stocks, right, Singapore stocks like your DBS, your Yangzijiang or Citrum or things like that, great. That would be for next Friday, right? Next Friday. And that would be 21st of February, 10:30 a.m. All right, the link is right in the chat. Again, the link's right in the chat. So join us for Singapore market updates, insights. Ask me your Singapore stocks. Then, of course, we'll share with you some Singapore stocks that we like as well, that we can cover as well. Right. So we have, let's see, Chua, thank you so much. Appreciate the education. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, John. Good to see you here. Thanks, Palesh. All right. Thank you so much, Josephine, Neil. Thank you so much as well, Sadie. I think Sadie, I covered your stock, right? Good to see you still here. Thanks, Chi Sing. Do you have call every week or is it only a short-term event? Palish? Yes, we plan to do this AMAS stock Ask Me Any Stock session every Friday for now. Every time, I mean, we're doing like 4 or 5 times already. So every Friday we'll be doing it alternate Singapore, US, Singapore, US. So today, US, next Friday will be Singapore. All right. So we hope to continue to do it. All right. Thank you so much. All right. As I say, guys, if you want to find out more, all right, in terms of the entire strategy, we just place the link in the chat one more time, attend one of those free webinars, find out how perhaps you could, have access to this one GT Pro indicator. I mean, you guys can see how simple it is, right? Can you see yourself doing this, guys? Nothing complicated. Just type the name of the stock, and you pretty much get a quick opinion in seconds. Right? The link is right there. Check it out. And that's where I hope to share with you more in a webinar in terms of the entire framework, the backbone of it. All right. So you understand much, much clearer. All right. So I think that's it, guys. Bervyn, is there anything to add for me?
No,
good. That's it. Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope to see you guys next week as well. You can do remember to of course subscribe, and then you will be notified when we go live as well. Thank you everyone.
Definitely hit the subscribe button. Yeah. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Follow us as well. All right. Zee, sorry, you're saying something. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying like appreciate all of them here. Joining us for 2 hours. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. So see you at the 1GT bootcamp. All right, very good. So I'll see you at the bootcamp as well. Those of you who are kind of like attending my bootcamp, I'll see you tomorrow live. For those who want to know more about the bootcamp and some of the more advanced training, as I say, attend all of those free webinars. The link is already in the chat a couple of times. All right. Thank you so much. Bye. We'll see you guys next Friday, 10:30 a.m. for the Ask Me Any Stock Singapore session. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.